The Technology Modernization Fund has an extra $1 billion from the COVID stimulus package to support agency IT upgrades, but the White House still wants to add another $500 million to the fund. Jonathan Alboum is Federal Chief Technology Officer at ServiceNow. He's former Chief Information Officer at the Agriculture Department. He's writing about investing in technology for hybrid workplaces in NextGov. Thanks for joining me, Jonathan. Let's talk a little bit about this cash infusion and how agency leaders can use it effectively.
Sure. Well, I think that there's a lot of opportunity to modernize processes and digitally transform our agencies based on what we've been seeing relative to COVID and the future of work. We've said before that COVID is this clarion call for digital transformation, because we know that no matter where work happens, whether it's in a federal office or in someone's home, that digital workflows are really a key to driving productivity and great employee and customer experiences. And I think the question really becomes, where do we start in looking at our agencies and trying to determine what processes need to change in order to be a more digital organization, which drives this idea of a hybrid workforce. And, a great place to start is always looking at the processes that have a manual component to them. Paper-based processes. Maybe there are documents that have to be signed and mailed into an agency. Those are great candidates for digitization, and the use of TMF funds to digitally transform those processes is I think a very interesting idea for everybody to consider.
And I know you're thinking a lot about these hybrid workplaces. Do you see technology as being able to help both the workforce piece of it and the customer piece of it?
I do. So let's begin with federal employees. They have to have the right technologies in order to work seamlessly, irrespective of their physical location. And, as we move into this hybrid environment where some people will be in an office and some people are going to be at their homes, it's going to be different than when we're all at our homes. So that might require some different technologies. Just the idea of being in a conference room with a few of your colleagues while others are on Zoom is, creates a little different experience than we've had now, and that might require some new technology as well. But when we think about the customers that those federal employees serve, the people they serve, and it always comes back to the people, do we have the right tools in place to make those people feel comfortable working with an agency digitally? We changed a lot of processes very quickly in the early days of COVID, and very successfully. But I think part of the ongoing question is those changes we made, are they sustainable, and are they really the right processes that we want to have going forward? I think this is a time to rethink and redesign some of those processes and make sure that they're the right ones for a digital government now and into the future.
How do you recommend that agency leaders think about those processes or the technology that they've deployed during this period, and how to kind of go forward from here?
Yeah, so part of it is thinking about what work really needs to be done on site. How well do you understand the data in your organization, and how well do you understand the work and how the data and the work flow through the agency? Where are the silos and where are the opportunities for automation? And once you understand those things, now you can think about investing in technologies, digital platforms, low-code tools that help you rapidly change and create new and better experiences for employees and agency customers. These these opportunities are all within our grasp. We have the opportunity to change, and the TMF is providing funding in a lot of cases to do this. But we have to be thoughtful about how we move forward and be very clear with what we're trying to achieve, I think, across all of our communities and the people we serve.
What do you think are the challenges or pitfalls there?
Well, sometimes moving too fast can be a pitfall. Moving too fast can, create blind spots, and we might invest in a technology or make a change before we really understand its implications. And I'd say also right now, we're in a time where I think, as we're talking about a return to work, there is a lot of anxiety around this with some employees. And I think it's very important for agencies to be communicating a very clear process and protocol so employees can make correct decisions and they can understand understand how these vaccine mandates and testing options impact them. Which by the way, those also create some really new and potentially challenging requirements for agencies. That information around vaccination status, the information around an ongoing testing regimen for employees that may not be vaccinated, that information is potentially protected health information, needs to be secure, it needs to be managed. So we have to be thinking about how this rapidly changing environment of these new mandates impact the way that we run our agencies and interact with our employees. And then, what I think one last point really comes down to this idea of a future of work. And I know while we're talking about a return to work, a lot of people are thinking beyond that and considering a return to work. And for agency leaders, that process needs to be very collaborative. What is that going to look like? And it has to be, include listening to employees and employee unions. And, there needs to be a good amount of compassion and empathy around this being a very complex change for people after, a year plus of working from home in this kind of environment. And, the interaction with, it's not just an IT problem, it's interaction with HR, it's interaction with facilities, it's interaction with, legal and other areas of an agency, makes for an environment where we might not get it right the first time, and we have to be flexible and continue to think about how we evolve this hybrid environment. And as long as there are technologies underlying it that are flexible and create a opportunity for I'd call it digital resiliency, I think we're on the right path. And as a federal IT community, I'm confident that we can get there.
Thanks very much, Jonathan.
Thanks for having me.